Zach Gelb hosts Afternoon Drive nationally on the CBS Sports Radio Network, and he joins us on Wednesdays. He's a man about town, by the way. He was at the national championship on Monday night. There's a lot to talk about, Gelby. How was the experience, though, on Monday night? I know your seats were very high up because I was following along on social media, but how was your experience at the national championship?
It was awesome. The atmosphere was incredible. It was a 70% to 30% Michigan home game, but I actually like watching football high up because you could see everything develop. So I was fine with the seat, but I do have to apologize to you because I read your comment wrong to me. I thought you were calling me the D word, not saying that my you-know-what can be done at 48 when I needed to be out by 50. So I thought you were calling me a not-so-nice word. That's why I had a little chippy response back to you.
Well, I did off the air. I was calling you plenty of names off the air. So,
yeah, my reading comprehension skills aren't great. I did not do good on that part of the SAT.
Nobody in radio has good reading comprehension skills. It's one of the reasons that we're in radio.
And by the way, how about Jimmy? No respect for Pete Carroll.
Guy's
the body hasn't even gotten cold yet. Jeez.
Guy's a legend. And listen, you want to play that when Popovich gets fired one day? I'm okay with that because that guy yelling at the crowd. Pete Carroll's a nice guy. Just a nice guy. He's wearing his Nikes, got a great head of hair. He's over 70 years old, right? Great head of hair. I mean,
and he looks young.
I do think Schefter said that he might stick with the team in some different capacity.
Yeah, so at first when I saw that, I go, okay, maybe he just wanted to move on. But then I remembered it was just on Monday when he was on a Seattle radio station saying he still wants to coach and he plans to be the coach next year. So this maybe now seems like, just in the moment after it marinates for about 10 minutes that he was kind of forced out as the head coach. I was reading an article earlier this week on NFL.com. His contract was through the 2024 season, so it's still had a year left. And then there was an option for 2025, and there's already speculation that former Seahawks defensive coordinator and current defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, Dan Quinn, could be the next head coach of the Seahawks.
Maybe the Bears wouldn't have been so quick to keep Eberflus if they knew Pete Carroll was going to come available.
Yeah, I don't know about that organization. I don't think they have any direction right now. You basically fire the entire offensive staff. You keep the coach who's a defensive-minded head coach who I think has done well down the stretch and deserves to keep his job. And there's still multiple questions on a lot of other parts with that organization, including the quarterback in Justin Fields. Will he be back? So in all likelihood, the Bears will probably make this chaotic. They'll trade Fields. They'll draft Caleb Williams. And then a year from now, they will fire the head coach. And then you already have a young quarterback on his second coach and probably second offensive coordinator.
Well,
the Bears, they always find a way to continue to mess it up.
I think you keep Fields, get him a great receiver.
I'm with you.
Good to go.
I'm with you. I think you draft Marvin Harrison Jr., maybe move back a spot or two, and you get some picks as well, and you get the best of both worlds. But the Bears never do what makes sense.
Let's talk a little Dolphins here. Big game Saturday night. It is going to be freezing cold in Kansas City. Tua, we read the stats earlier from our friends at Hard Rock Bet. Tua, when the temperature is under 45 degrees. Now, the temperature is going to be -5, -15 with the wind chill. Under 45 degrees at kickoff. Tua 0-4, 55% completion percentage, and 4 TDs, 5 interceptions, 71.8 passer rating. Do you give the Dolphins much of a chance Saturday night in KC?
Not only do I give them much of a chance, I may be the first national media member to do this. The Miami Dolphins are winning the game. And here is why. Wow. This NFL season has made 0, and I mean 0 cents. And I have no reason to trust the Dolphins. I have no reason to trust the Kansas City Chiefs. Last week, the Dolphins lost the AFC East. They lost the game that they could have won up against Buffalo. Everyone will turn on Tua Tagovailoa after the interception, and Tyreek Hill goes back to Arrowhead and has a big game. Every single person in America will pick the Kansas City Chiefs. When that happens in a game between two teams that I don't trust, I will take the team that no one is taking. Give me the Dolphins.
So it's just kind of fading the public at this point. You go, all signs point to KC Saturday night, but nothing makes sense in the NFL, and so Dolphins gut it out.
Well, also, I think this is a race to who gets the 21 points first. And as great as Patrick Mahomes is, I don't trust the talent around Patrick Mahomes. You get Raheem Mostert back. You have my guy, Devon Achane, as well. Tyreek Hill's going to have a big night. Looks like Jalen Waddle will play too. I know the defense is a concern because they were finally just getting over the loss of Phillips, and now they lose Bradley Chubb for a season. But I do believe that their offense will find a way to put up enough points, put up 3 touchdowns or so, and they will just advance to the second round, taking care of Kansas City.
What do you think of Tua? There's been so much talk down here, and on this show as well. The guy led the league in passing. I mean, statistically, his season was so great. And we had Adam Beasley on earlier this week, and he's from Pro Football Network.
Yeah.
His column after Sunday night's loss was titled, "Tua is good, not great, and that's a problem." And I'm wondering where you stand on Tua, because at some point you do have to bleep or get off the pot when it comes to him.
So Tua Tagovailoa, and Belichick once said this, and I believe this is true. Stats are for losers. Like, I don't care necessarily what the stats say. I get what you're saying. The stats are impressive with what he's done this year. Tua's had a good season, but I agree with Adam, and I've been saying this all throughout the year. I think Tua is a good quarterback. I don't think he has been a great quarterback yet in the NFL. He'll get paid probably this offseason, great quarterback money, but Tua is kind of in the same class at the way that we kind of talk about a Dak Prescott, the way we talk about a Kirk Cousins. You could do a lot worse than Tua Tagovailoa, but I don't think he is a top 5 quarterback in this league.
Gelb, you said just a few minutes ago, this would be a race to 21 points. You think the Dolphins can score 3 touchdowns. Yep. My question is why? Because they couldn't do it against the Ravens. They couldn't do it against the Bills at home, despite having 5 chances to put points up on the board in the second half, and they got shut out. Mm-hmm. They got 22 points against Dallas at home, but it took 5 field goals. What is it that makes you believe the Dolphins are going to go into a place where it's minus 15 degrees with the wind chill and wind chill?
Win what?
And put up 21 points, because I want to be there.
Maybe Eric Spoelstra should give a few dollars to Solana for a better education.
So you're saying they're playing behind a windshield? What are you saying, Solana?
I want to get to where your head is at, where you believe this Dolphins team can put up that number, because I want them to.
It's more so that I think the Chiefs are overrated. That's what it is. And also, the Chiefs offense has been a mess the entire year. I equate the Chiefs to the 2019 New England Patriots, where their record was really good, or their record was fine, and everyone was like, up, it's Belichick, up, it's Brady, they'll figure it out. Up, it's Andy Reid, up, it's Patrick Mahomes, they'll figure it out. They don't have wide receivers on this team. So maybe that's how they get a touchdown is, I don't know, Kadarius Toney drops a ball, and the next thing you know, it gets intercepted by the Miami Dolphins, and it puts them in good field position. This Chiefs defense, I thought could be great this year. They've been good. I just believe the speed of the Dolphins with a guy like Tyreek Hill and then the 2 running backs as well will be enough to get 3 touchdowns on the board.
I know you like going to sporting events. I do as well, but going to be -5 Saturday night in KC, -15 with the
I've been to some cold games.
I grew up in Chicago. We had season tickets to the Bears. I mean, we used
my condolences.
And we never missed a Bears game, me and my dad. And so I've sat out there in that stuff. I'm just kidding. Now I'm 54. I would not do that anymore. But that place is going to be packed in Kansas City. Always is.
Yeah.
Would you sit out in those elements to root on your team?
So the last time the Patriots were in the playoffs, I went to Buffalo when the Patriots allowed a score on every drive to the Buffalo Bills, and it was -2 degrees. And I froze my tuchus off.
You were outside? You weren't in a press box?
No, I was in the stands as a fan. They actually warned me going into the stadium to grab some cardboard that they had cut out to stand on the cardboard with the cement concrete steps inside that old stadium, which I still call Ralph Wilson Stadium. I don't know what the name of it is right now. I think it may be New Era. And yeah, it was freezing. So we left early. We left in the 4th quarter with like 7 or 8 minutes to go because the game was a blowout. We had a we had a parking pass where the media would usually park. So it was a good parking spot. It took me about 45 minutes to walk to my car because I could not feel my feet. My feet were frozen. So Zach Gelb, growing up, loved going to cold weather games. I've been to like every big Patriot playoff game that's been in the cold weather, but I think you suck it up and you drink a lot, but it is not fun when it's that cold and you can't feel your feet.
Would you go, Solana? Have you ever experienced cold like that, Solana?
Dolphins playoff game in 2016.
What was it, 45 degrees? You get the North Face out?
I was
and he's in
Pittsburgh.
The press box. He's in the press
box. No.
Though.
2016 in Pittsburgh, and it was like 15, 20 degrees.
Come on, 15, I'd wear a tank top.
Brother, that was the first time I'd ever been in snow.
Yeah.
I had those little heating pads in every single crevice of my body, and I was still freezing. But I was in Buffalo last year for the Dolphins playoff game in a box that is heated, and it was just miserable. 3.5 hours watching Skylar Thompson blow our playoff chances away. So, no.
And Mike McDaniel was hitting the vape pen, right?
He was. He was. That part I like, though. But, no, he
was toasty.
It's amazing to me that people will sit out there, and God bless them because people will. But even like in the rain, I mean, people will sit here, in pouring rain. I don't know if I could do that anymore.
Rain is my least favorite weather. I will take a snowstorm any day compared to rain. Like when it rains in the city and I have to walk home or walk to the subway, it is the most least enjoyable thing in my life. Rain.
What do you think could be a surprise Super Bowl contender? We were talking about this yesterday with Crowder. Like, who do you look at in the playoffs and you go, you know what? I could actually see this team. No one sees Green Bay coming, and I could see this team.
Would you not consider the Bills one? I'm just asking.
Probably. Oh, I was going to say probably not based on the season, but man, they do have.
Because I put a future on them.
Strong.
I put a future on them after the Kansas City game at plus 1,000. They're offering me some money to cash out just to get to the Super Bowl, not win it. But I'll give you one that I think is surprising. And they could lose this weekend because the game's a toss-up. But the Los Angeles Rams have won 7 out of their last 8 games down the stretch. You have the mix of the experience with guys like Sean McVay, coach of the team, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald. And then you have the youngsters like Williams and Puka Nacua as well. They have a good blend, and they know how to win. And just as long as the Niners go down, and also they're not going to be afraid of the Niners because they see them twice a year in season, I could see the Rams maybe being the second best team right now in the playoffs in the NFC.
Interesting. Zach Gelb, you hear him on CBS Sports Radio, the national network. With the Dolphins, just on the way out here, with the Dolphins, if they don't win a playoff game, is the season a bust?
I would say it's disappointing because when you lead the entire way pretty much as AFC East champs and then don't win the division in a game where Josh Allen for a while was begging you to win, and then you don't win this playoff game or at least be competitive in the playoff game, I would look back at this season and say there was some good, there was some bad, but the lasting taste would be disappointment.
Who needs the game more, Tua or Mike McDaniel?
I would say Tua. Why are people turning on Mike McDaniel? I think Mike McDaniel pretty much is positive.
There is a writer down here, Chris Perkins, who has suggested that maybe next season would be a hot seat season for McDaniel if he's gone through season 1 and season 2 and not been able to get a playoff win.
I think McDaniel is there as long as Tua is there. That's the way that I would say it. Because McDaniel, what Flores did not do was embrace Tua Tagovailoa clearly. And I think as long as Tua is your quarterback, McDaniel is going to be the head coach, at least for like the next year or 2 or maybe even 3.
But not on the hot seat though. And I know what Perk is saying, by the way, because
well, who knows what qualifies as being the hot seat now? Like no one would have thought that Pete Carroll would have been forced out, even though they just missed the playoffs. So things change rather quickly in the NFL. And
I think Stephen Ross has made it clear down here, like he's in a rush to have some success as the owner of the team. And so, listen, I love Mike McDaniel, and I happen to love Tua. I hope they extend him. Like, I hope they give him that big monster extension that someone's going to give him. Someone's going to give him that, because if you don't think he's the guy for the Dolphins, like, he's going to be the guy for someone. I hope they keep Mike McDaniel and Tua for a long time. I've seen enough. There are people, though, who say, no, there's got to be more definitive success.
Stephen Ross is in a rush as long as it's not pertaining to one name. What always annoys me with him is because his name is on the business school at Michigan. And I say this as a Michigan fan, right? That he won't pursue Jim Harbaugh. Now, I'm not saying he should do it now because McDaniel's working, but there's going to be a lot of teams coming and calling for Jim Harbaugh. And if we're in a conversation from a year from now where it's, McDaniel's out the door and he didn't want to ever make a move for Harbaugh, I think it's a bad look for Stephen Ross.
I hope you enjoyed watching your team, Michigan. I was very happy for you, Gelb, but watching them hoist that tainted national championship trophy. Seriously,
fine.
I'm very happy for you, honestly.
There's an S in stupid, there's an S in stupid, and there's an S in Solana. So there you go.
Seriously,
I wouldn't expect your brain to be able to understand what a real championship is like.
What a phenomenal way for the college football season to end with a known cheater lifting the national championship trophy.
That's fine.
Congrats.
It's all right.
Thank you for being on the windshield, Zach. We appreciate it.
I may come in studio next week and punch Solana in the face. How about that, Barrett Sports Media? Write that up.
Write a column about
Zach
that.
Gelb threatens to kick the crap out of WQAM producer.
Let me know.
And Heat sycophant,
baby. Let me
and
know.
The water carrier for one Eric Spoelstra in the Heat organization.
Zach Gelb, CBS Sports Radio.
Play some peppers, why don't you?
We'll see you, Gelby. There
Later,
you go.
guys.
Zach
Be well.
Gelb will take a break, come back with more Hochman and Crowder.